What's going on, football fans? It's time once again for another rendition of the Pound for Pound. I'm your host, J.R. Clark, and today I'm gonna kind of go on a rant, right? I tend not to do that. I tend not to try to be all ranty, but it's gonna have to happen today. And that's simply because for the last 2 weeks, I've been hearing a narrative on social media, especially on local radios, that I just don't agree with, and I just can't get behind, and I just can't handle. So I figure I got to talk about it, right? And this is my platform to talk about it, so this is what I'm going to do. What I'm talking about is the notion that Matt Ryan's contract, or lack of Matt Ryan's contract, is what has hampered us in free agency. What has made it to where we just can't go get anybody and can't go do nothing. Dude, that is about the falsest narrative that I've heard in quite a while. And what I mean by that is that if the Falcons wanted to go out and sign somebody, they would have signed them. They would have figured it out. They would have signed them, with or without Matt Ryan's contract being done before free agency. Now, would they like to have it done before free agency? Well, of course they would want it done before free agency. Would they like Matt Ryan to take a hometown discount? Of course they want Matt Ryan to take a hometown discount. But let me ask you a question. If your boss came up to you and said, hey, I'm going to give you a raise, but this, that, and the third. I want you to take less money than what you feel like you deserve because, you've been here for a while and, really would help the company out. None of us, not one of us, would sign on for that. Okay? Period, point blank. Alright? I wouldn't do it. You wouldn't do it. I wouldn't expect you to do it. But it's funny to me how we expect, our football players to do that. Right? Yes, of course, they make millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars, so on and so forth. But that's what the market demands. That's what the table is set at. Okay? So, you kind of got to get out your feelings on the amount of money and think about it as in, he is one of the upper echelon quarterbacks in this league, regardless of how you feel about him. Regardless of what you think about Matt Ryan, he is in the top 10, period. From stats to wins to just about any category that you want to throw out there. So you want to tell me that he should make less money than Kirk Cousins, who signed an $84 million contract, fully guaranteed? No, dog, that ain't going to happen. Nor should it happen. Not for a quarterback who took a team to the Super Bowl and was a reigning MVP of the league. You wouldn't expect him to take that kind of deal, okay? So let's just be real here. I mean, I know there's a vast majority of the Atlanta fans who ain't never been on Matt Ryan's train, who have always been on former quarterbacks' trains, okay? And has never given Matt Ryan the due that he deserves. I mean, he's the most winning quarterback in franchise history. He leads every stat for this franchise that can be put out there. But yet, there are still people who every offseason want to trade him to somebody else for somebody in the draft who we don't know nothing about. Okay? So, that's just, those people, I'm not talking to y'all. Because obviously y'all don't like Matt Ryan. I'm sure that had he won the Super Bowl, you still wouldn't like Matt Ryan. So, y'all, me and y'all, we ain't talking. Because we're not on the same page. We're not on eye to eye. Now, granted, I probably have, a little bit more on my corner in the fact that I didn't start watching the Atlanta Falcons until 2008. It just so happened to be that's the year Matt Ryan got drafted. So, therefore, he's been the only quarterback I have physically seen with my eyes live. So I guess, maybe that makes me, biased and a homer. Now I know when Michael Vick was here, he, really energized this franchise in a way that had never been energized before. But Michael Vick didn't do half of what Matt Ryan has done on the field. Okay? Yes, he's exciting. Yes, he's super athletic. At the time, you had never seen anything like that before in modern football. And it was amazing. And it brought hype to this town and to this team that like no other. I'll give him credit where credit's due. But I would appreciate that those folks give Matt Ryan credit where credit's due. He's been the best quarterback this franchise has ever had, hands down. Okay? So with that being said, why not give him the contract that he deserves? You want him here. He wants to be here. And he wants to make more money than Kirk Cousins, who, if I ain't mistaken, hadn't ever won a playoff game. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't have time to fact check that statement. But I don't believe he's won a playoff game. So back to this lazy narrative of the reason why we didn't do nothing in free agency is because Matt Ryan's deal hadn't been done. There are other ways to go about this. They could have converted things into signing bonuses. They could have asked Julio Jones to restructure some of his money. They could have asked Trufant to structure some of his money. They could have signed Jake Matthews to a deal instead of paying him $12 million this year. You see what I'm getting at? There's a million different ways to go about this. If there was somebody out there that the Falcons truly wanted and truly thought was going to be the guy to put this over the top, they would have done it. And they would have figured out a way to do it. Okay? So you got that. And you also got to think long term. This team, if first and foremost, is trying to build through the draft. Period. Why do you want to build through the draft? That's 4 to 5 years of a cheap contract. Point blank. That's why you want to build through the draft. Okay? So you don't go out and sign Ndamukong Suh to a $14 million one-year deal. You don't sign Dontari Poe to a $3 million $30 deal or $30 million deal that gives him $10 million a year in the back stages of his career. You don't re-sign Adrian Claiborne, who had one good game, one really good game. Okay, you don't sign him to $6 million a deal or $6 million a year on a 2-year deal. You don't re-sign Taylor Gabriel, who, when the rest of the league figured out that all you got to do is stay on top of him and you can take him out of the game, you don't re-sign him because he wasn't much help to you this past year. You don't do all these things because you got Vic Beasley's contract coming up. You got Grady Jarrett's contract coming up. You got Keanu Neal's contract coming up. You got, like I said, the aforementioned Jake Matthews contract coming up. This team is thinking long term while also trying to get our team better now. All right? I mean, do I wish they had made, other moves in free agency? Of course, because, that's Christmas. That's fun. You don't want to get a pair of socks for Christmas. You don't want to get a pair of underwear for Christmas or, a pair of shoes for Christmas unless you're a sneakerhead. Then you really do want those shoes. Anyway, I digress. What we got in this free agency was socks, underwear, toothbrushes, things that you need but aren't fun and flashy. And the narrative that is being kicked around that essentially this is all Matt Ryan's fault because he didn't take a deal, that's crap. That is crap that I will not stand for. But I won't have much of a conversation about. Because if you wanted to get into cap hell, you could have signed Matt Ryan to a crazy deal. If you wanted to get into cap hell, you could have done some crazy deals with some free agents. But if you felt like you were a piece or two away, like truly, and this guy was going to be that piece, they would have got him. Has this team not shown the willingness to trade up in the draft to get the guy that they want? Have they not shown that when the best center was on free, was out in the market in Alex Mack, they went out and signed him? So what makes you think that if there was somebody out there that they thought could really come in here and make a huge difference, that they would have went out and signed him? We didn't have much cap space last year, and we signed Dontari Poe. So, there's nothing that this front office has done to show me that they don't have this team's best interest in mind. And the idea of Matt Ryan not getting, the contract that he deserves or taking some kind of false hometown discount. You know why Drew Brees took a hometown discount? Because he's about done. Okay? And he wants to finish his career in New Orleans. That's when you take a hometown discount. You thinking about 4 or 5 years ago, he didn't take no hometown discount. Period. He did. And then they made bad free agent moves on top of his contract and put him in a cap hell. This team knows what they need to do. They know what they're going to have to sign Matt Ryan for. So they're not trying to create cap hell in other places. And I hate to tell you this, people, but franchise quarterbacks don't grow on trees. There's a handful of quarterbacks coming out in this draft. You got probably 1 or 2% of them that are actually going to be successful in this league. Period. I mean, nobody knows what Baker Mayfield, Josh Rosen, Josh Allen, freaking Lamar Jackson. Don't nobody know Sam Darnold. Don't nobody know what they're going to be in the league. I mean, right now you don't even know what Andrew Luck is in the league. Ryan Griffin ain't even in the league anymore. Johnny Manziel's doing the best he can to try to get himself in front of people to try to get back in the league. So, I mean, there's no such thing as a surefire bet in the draft, period. And especially not with quarterbacks. So, I don't know. I think y'all, I say y'all. I'm not talking about y'all. I'm just saying the general y'all. That you step back and reevaluate the way y'all think and the way y'all look at Matt Ryan. I mean, is he the most exciting quarterback? Probably not. But he's going to retire as a Falcon. And the sooner y'all can come to grips with that and start cheering for the man, the happier y'all might be. And the more y'all might actually appreciate the things he does on and off the field for this team. So, that's my 2 cents. As always, Falcons fans, rise up, rant over, like and follow us on Twitter and Facebook. That pound for pound, the LB4LB. I'll put the thing down in here. It'll probably be about right here. So, check that out. Check us out there. Hit us up. Got a question? Hit me up on Twitter. Hit me up on Facebook. I do live streams quite a bit. I do recordings quite a bit. So, we're getting into the draft season now for sure. So, probably in the next, week or two, I'll be doing a, revealing what my mock draft is going to be for this team and what I think this team needs to do. I got to watch some more film and stuff, but yeah, this could be a good solidifying draft for us. But as always, Falcons fans, rise up. Have a good day. Peace out.